2, 3, 4. I'm serving hot. Graziella TV. Welcome to my channel.
Welcome to Graziella TV. Welcome to Graziella TV. Welcome to Graziella TV. Welcome to Graziella TV. Welcome to Graziella TV.
On www.grazielatv.com. Serving up a hot dish of this and of that. Only on grazielatv.com. Be there.
Hello and welcome to the Fit Foodie on Graziella TV. I'm your host, Graziella Barata. Thanks for joining me in another fabulous episode of the Fit Foodie on GTV, where I serve up a hot dish of this and that. Today, we're going to be making a happier, healthier happy hour. And who doesn't love the quintessential guacamole and chips with margaritas? But we don't love those calories. So today, I'm going to be making for you a much healthier version that is still super tasty. So let's begin with the guacamole. I'm going to start with 1 clove of garlic that I've peeled already. You guys have watched me smash garlic way too many times, so I don't need to show you that again. Okay, let's put the garlic in our bowl. Next, we have half of a yellow onion. So you want to chop the onion up finely so that we can get the most flavor out of it. And use a better knife that I'm using right now. Putting our onions in. Next thing I like to do is to chop up our pepper, because I like to get the flavor started nice and early in the recipe. So here I'm taking 1 dried chili pepper. Now, depending on the amount of heat that you like, you can choose to keep the seeds in or to remove some of them. So I like it rather spicy, so I'm going to keep the seeds in. Now, another little trick, you want to grab this with a paper towel because it's very spicy. And once upon a time, I touched the pepper with my bare hands and then touched my face. Let's just put it this way, I was glad that I still had a face afterwards. So, word to the wise, use a paper towel with your pepper. Okay, putting the pepper in. And the next thing that I want to do is add my lime, because the lime is going to start getting the flavors going out of the onion, the garlic, and the pepper. So I'm taking 1 lime and squeezing it right in. Now I'm going to chop up some cilantro. This is an herb that I actually didn't like very much at first, but I've really grown to love it, obviously, especially in Mexican cooking. And you can't have good guacamole without cilantro in it. So we're gonna put some of this fresh cilantro, and you can get the dried version, but it's nowhere near as aromatic as the fresh. So get rid of these thicker stems. You don't need these. Just kind of take those off. So I'm just going to give this a rough chop now. And add it right into our bowl. Great. Now let me just stir this around so we get the lime on everything. And depending on the size of the lime, you might want to add 1 more. So sometimes they get a little dry, and I think mine is, so I'm going to add another one. Okay, so now that the flavors are going to be brought out of everything that's in the bowl with our lime juice, now I'm going to take my time and cut the avocados. So each avocado is different, just like people. So let's see what this one brings. Wonderful. This one looks really good. I try to get the seed out or the pit out in one little, see, now that didn't work. So we're gonna have to use a spoon. So what I do is, if I can't get it out with a knife, I just use a spoon to go around the seed. And it usually comes out pretty easily. Now you want to scoop out all of the avocado, go around the skin, don't lose any of it. Sometimes it starts to brown on the edges, so you want to watch for that and take that out. And if not, if you have a perfect avocado like this one, you're lucky, and just scoop it all in. Good, and here I'm using 2 avocados for this recipe. And if you happen to get this all over your hands like I'm doing right now, it's okay, because avocado is really good for your skin. In fact, avocado is in many beauty products, so you can kind of just apply it on your skin and it'll moisturize you. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go apply my avocado cream and I'll be right back. Next, what I'm going to do is add some spices. So I've got some black pepper here. So even though we had used a chili pepper, I like to use different levels of heat. So I'm adding some ground black pepper, of course some salt, sea salt. I eye everything, as most of you know, so be sure to follow the recipe that's on the screen. Next, we have some cumin. This is what really gives guacamole a great flavor. Don't be afraid, it's a very pungent spice, but it is awesome in Mexican food. And an ingredient that isn't always used, but I use it and it gives it a really great flavor, is coriander. You don't want to put too much of this because it kind of has a flowery essence, so just a little bit. And there you have it. Now, take your fork and smash the avocados into all of the ingredients. Again, you're going to get dirty here, but this time don't apply it to your skin, because then you'll smell like garlic and cumin, and that's not so great. Smash in the avocado. But what you can do is lick your fingers after. So there you have your basic guacamole. Some people like tomato in their guacamole and some people don't. I like tomato, so here's your optional ingredient, 1 plum tomato. I'm going to add that in. So with the tomato, you want to dice it up rather small so that it blends into the guacamole well. Okay, let's add the tomato in. And give it a little stir. Now I like to let my guacamole sit for just a little bit, maybe about 15 to 20 minutes, so that all the flavors get to marry well together, and then eat. So today, instead of having guacamole with fried chips, which we all know are bad for you, we're going to have it with vegetables. And here I've got some fresh carrots and celery that I'm going to enjoy with my guacamole. And guess what? When you have some really, really fresh guacamole with all of these fresh ingredients and really great flavors, you don't need those oily, salty chips. The flavor is all in here, people. You can eat this with a piece of cardboard and it'll taste good. So, I'm going to enjoy it with a little carrot stick. Don't worry, I didn't forget about the margarita part. Let's get to that. So here I've got some tequila, which is the main ingredient, one of the main ingredients in our margaritas. However, we're going to make the skinniest margarita you have ever had. So we're going to take some fresh limes, you're going to squeeze those right into your glass. So let's pour in about 1 ounce of tequila inside each glass. And now we're going to squeeze in the fresh lime. So really, margaritas are a very simple drink. And I feel like sometimes they tend to be ruined by all of the extras that are added at restaurants. You know, they add their sour mix, which is full of sugar, and a whole bunch of other unhealthy ingredients. So we're making the healthiest margarita possible right now. A little more lime. And lastly, we're going to add some ice. Now I'm going to top this off with just a little more lime juice. Now if you like salt, you can salt your rims. Otherwise, saltless, even better. Now the sweetener that I'm going to use in here isn't agave, which is very typical, and it is low in the glycemic index. However, stevia is even lower. So I'm going to use about 1/4 to 1/2 packets of stevia per drink. Stevia is very, very sweet. Let's stir that in. And don't mind if I taste. Pure heaven in a glass. Just a little more sweetness for me. Good. You really don't miss the sugar, and you don't miss the agave either. Although I love agave, this has less calories. Let's stir this up. And there you have it. Very, very super skinny margaritas. And your guacamole with crudité. Enjoy your happier, healthier happy hour. Cheers. Well, before I get lost in my happy hour, it's time to announce the GTV Fan of the Week. Drum roll, please. John Hayes. Thank you for watching and supporting Graziella TV, John. Hey!
Hey.
You're John Hayes.
I am John Hayes.
Well, what are you doing in New York?
Just walking around, looking around.
Cool. Well, you're my fan of the week.
Well, thank you. That's, such a great coincidence.
Oh.
Just having your hand.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching Graziella TV, serving up a hot dish of this and that. Don't forget to like us on facebook.com/GraziellaTV. I'll see you next time.